Hello everyone and welcome back to the project. I hope you are doing alright. Today we start our run for the finish line. I think I've taught you everything I wanted to cover from the structure of a project, like starting with the blockouts and then moving on to adding details and more complex elements. Okay, so we talked about the importance of shape, composition, colors, lighting, and after that we moved on to learning about sculpting and then to finish with rigging and skinning, and of course a bit of animation. So those subjects I've covered, and what you can see in the background, I'm gonna speed up the video a bit, is me sculpting our zombie's body. Okay? So I already told you, I think, that I would take the spaceship sequence and the zombie sequence as my two final or finalized sequences for this project. That will be my contribution to that. And of course, if you have made something similar based off of what you learned, don't hesitate to send me your work and I will add it to the final video. Okay? So, now that we are almost done, I mean, it's gonna be a couple of weeks before I do all the zombies, the characters, the animation and all, don't worry. But I think it's time for me to talk a bit about life and everything, as I did last year. So, what I wanted to talk about was a thought about things that people have said lately to me, and it was about becoming good and reaching a certain level so that we can live off of what we do. And usually what I can see now in most of the people is that they want to achieve what has taken other people 20 years to achieve in something like a few weeks or maybe a few months. And that is really almost not possible. You have to take into account that if it takes someone, let's say, 5 years to learn something, that's not because he was lazy or just time dilates or something like that. It's because skills, like artistic skills, they would take quite a bit of time to be mastered and acquired. And so now that you know that, what's the plan? The plan would be, of course, to keep on working and training until you are good enough. That will take a lot of time. And what I heard recently was the notion of deliberate practice or deliberate training, meaning that you don't just train or like draw or sculpt a character like that. You do it at least once or a couple of times so that you're familiar with the tools, and then you set yourself a target and a plan. Like maybe you want to first be good at drawing heads or sculpting heads, and then you will just go on and study how the head works, watch how people do sculpt their own heads, okay? And the beauty of today is that if you want to do something, somebody has already done it at a level which is higher than yours, maybe just a little bit higher. You don't need to aim for the masters yet. And then once you've seen that, you can even ask those people, like, okay, I've seen you sculpting this head, I really like your style. Could you let me know what was your little technique? How do you go about doing that or that? If the person didn't already do a tutorial about that. Because now a lot of people like to share their techniques and the way they create things, which is great. Okay, and then you just go on and say, okay, well, he did the eyes like that, so I'm gonna try to do the same and see if that works for you. Okay? And if that doesn't, you can just try to get inspired by someone else's techniques. Okay? And so on until you build like the nose, the mouth, everything correctly. And then you can try another entire character again and just say, okay, well, I can do another entire character, but what would be the next step? Maybe you want to get good at sculpting clothes. Okay, And so you repeat the step until you know. And once you know all the techniques, of course, don't get caught in that loop where you will only learn. You also need to output something. So you need to learn, let's say for a couple of days, maybe 1 or 2 days, and then you need to put that into practice. So don't learn too much that at the end you will just forget the beginning, or that you will get overwhelmed by all the techniques. Okay? The goal is to really improve in a conscious way. That means that you can work on the same elements until you are comfortable with the level you have reached, but you can still, like if we are talking about sculpting a character, you can still work on the head, improve an aspect of the head, but still work on the entire figure. That means that at the end you will still get experience from doing also the hands, the legs, the torso and all of that, and you will be able to figure out where are the areas where you are the weakest and the areas where you want to improve. Okay? And because you will always go through all the steps from the feet to toes, from the head to toes, sorry, till you'll be able to show off your character skills, let's say. Okay? It's like if you take a scene, an exterior scene, for example, with the trees, grass and all. If you want to improve on doing the grass, if you just do that only, of course you will be able to show how good you are at doing grass. But I'm sure you will agree that just a field of grass, of course some people can make this amazing, but that might be still a bit less interesting than a field of grass with a forest with trees and maybe some building elements or something within it as well. Even if it's not as great as the grass, it still be something more complete that will give you a better overall understanding on things and of course a finished scene, something that you can call a finished scene. As I said, some people are able to bring the grass to a level that is just wonderful and it will be enough to have just this. But if you're a beginner, you might not be at that level yet, so you can choose this route, of course, this path, but then be conscious that it is also a hard one. A specialized path like that can be a hard one as well. Okay, so I think I'm finished with this thing today. Maybe next time I will start focusing on the earning side of things. Let me know in the comments if that's something that is of interest to you, because I have no idea what you guys really like. I mean, are you here just to watch the progress on the project, to learn also something? I guess so, but maybe you're not interested in the business side of doing 3D arts. Maybe I'm wrong, so let me know. Okay, so I hope this was interesting. I hope you kinda learn watching me sculpting my little zombie. I didn't use any techniques that I haven't taught before. It's the same thing. I might have done the clothes a little bit differently, like not using the face set, but just the mask to separate it from my zombie. Okay? And maybe I just didn't give it any thickness and I worked just on top of it like that. Okay? So I hope you are doing alright. I hope you are creating something you are proud of. Always be proud of your work, no matter the level. Okay? It's a very first important good step. Wow, that was a lot of words. It's a important first step. Okay? To becoming a better artist, because love what you already can do, and then it doesn't matter, it doesn't prevent you from improving, but at least you'll feel good about what you're doing and it will give you the will to go a bit further. Okay? So, may this video find you well, be all a great artist, or at least a great person, have a great life, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.